What's up, Internet? My name is Short of the Max Extreme.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
And this is IMPERIUS REX. Today, we'll be reviewing Grant Morrison's Multiversity.
Thanks for sticking with us. We're now on episode 2 of our Grant Morrison special. I hope you're excited to hear about our thoughts on his newest book, Multiversity, because we will get to it eventually. Trust me, you don't want to listen to the whole thing in one sitting. It'll make you impotent. Last week we chatted about some of the lead-in titles to Multiversity, but there's still one bastard of a book to go, and that's the infamous, well, I don't want to steal the spotlight from these guys, so we'll just go right into it.
That leads us into 2008's Final Crisis.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is one I did the most research on, because this one...
Oh, yeah. I remember reading it. You bought it. You let me borrow it years ago when it came out.
Yeah.
Read it, and it was almost incomprehensible to me.
Yeah.
I was still kind of getting back into comics at that point, and I read it, and I was like... And I heard people ripped on it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's not bad, it's not bad. Issue 3, not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
Breaks into the Superman tie-in.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a little weird. We'll see where this is going. Second issue of Superman tie-in. Completely lost.
Derailed.
And then when it pops back into Final Crisis, I've just, like, what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I missing something? He goes fast and loose with this book.
Oh, yeah. Well, as you said, though, like, upon rereading this again, I remember texting you saying, like, I'm 3 issues in, I really like Final Crisis. And I thought, like, am I just stupid? Like, did I not get this the first time? But that's exactly it. Because when it came out issue to issue, it's only 7 issues long. And everybody had when they were reading it month to month, when it got to issues 4, 5, and 6, everybody was like, what's going on here? Because, like, to the side of it, Grant Morrison also came out with a bunch of other...
tie-ins, standalone, one-shot type things.
One of them being a 2-part Superman Beyond story, which is included in the trade. And a... Submit, and which was a Black Lightning and Tattooed Man one-issue thing. Which...
Again, his love of these really obscure...
Yeah.
Not even obscure, but just like, does anyone like these characters?
I don't know. But... And that's all that my trade here includes. Dave purchased his... just recently.
It's like
even has a different
here.
Logo in the corner.
New DC.
Yeah.
The terrible page flip logo.
I
But pages don't have that rounded corner. I hate the logo.
But his includes 2 Batman issues from Batman
from
run.
Morrison's run, because he was subsequently writing Batman at the same time he wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote Batman for like 60 issues or something.
Yeah, quite a while.
And this collects 682 and 683, which are just kind of a standalone story where over the course of Final Crisis, Batman gets kidnapped by Darkseid's goons, and they're basically trying to like psychically mine all of his experiences, everything that made him into Batman, because Batman is like the most formidable human on the face of the earth.
Yep.
And they want to distill the essence of Batman to implant into this army of clones that they've created over the course of like 2 panels. There's so much that happens in this book, like just issue by issue.
Yeah.
Where you think of some writers that take forever to establish a plot line. Morrison has enough in 3 issues to fill like a normal writer's 40-issue run.
Yeah, that's true.
But basically these guys are trying to see what makes Batman tick and use that to create an army of bat slaves, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So these 2 issues go into like this whole kind of psychological mind trip in Batman's head where he's kind of replaying his entire tenure as Batman, starting out and going from... I mean, they never date it in a timeline, but it's starting with the early Detective Comics appearances.
Well, I was just
going into like the Adam West stuff,
the
Frank Miller, the Neil Gaiman, or not Neil Gaiman, Neil Adams. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
All the milestone Bat moments, because Morrison, being a big believer of continuity, says it's all canon. He's not leaving anything out. They've all been a part of Batman's history.
Yeah.
So it's this really nice kind of like scrapbook of Batman's history.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But it's really cool because it goes total shifts of tone from when Batman was fun and carefree, and then he gets Robin, and they like have a connection. He's the adult that lost his parents and never had a childhood, and Robin is a child that lost his parents and wants to grow up to be like Batman, and like they complete each other in this really kind of sweet way that no one ever really talks about with Batman. Like it's very easy to make fun of the Batman and Robin dynamic and their relationship, but he does it really nicely, and it's over the course of like 3 panels, but it's very impactful, and it sums up like the Batman-Robin relationship perfectly. By the time they get to the current Batman timeline, and Batman kind of figures out what they're doing to him while he's trapped in this mental construct, and as they're downloading all these memories into the army of slaves, they just can't take it. Like, to just suddenly get all of Batman's experiences, everything that makes him Batman, like, no one can handle it except Bruce Wayne. Like,
that's amazing.
It is good. It's just, like, Morrison just loves Batman, you know, he thinks of him as the ultimate superhero, because...
Besides Superman.
Oh, yeah. The ultimate, like, human superhero, the mortal superhero. And it's really interesting because everything that happened to Batman made him who he is. Like, take away any of those steps and he wouldn't be Batman today.
Yeah.
But to just get that all at once, like, no way. It has to be a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool 2-issue series that I would recommend. Even if you don't dig Final Crisis, you could just read those as a nice, like, recap of Batman.
Yeah.
And it's excellent. I feel like we should backtrack a bit here.
Yeah.
Maybe recut this in back at the beginning. Maybe not.
Who cares?
Should we give a synopsis of Final Crisis?
In fact, I have written one down that may sum it up without spoiling it.
Okay.
But we will spoil it.
Do you need the paper to do this?
Well, I have it written down here. It starts with the death of Orion, one of the new gods. And then from there, it turns into a murder mystery to a point where Darkseid's introduced, and Darkseid wants to take over Earth and make it a new apocalypse. And from that point, heroes try to group together throughout others being manipulated and submitting to the anti-life equation. A resistance comes up to try to defeat Darkseid, which they eventually do when they find there is an evil behind the evil, which is an evil monitor who wants to take all of reality and destroy it, in which the only person that can save the world, which is Superman and Supermen, to help save all of existence.
So what are the monitors? What's a monitor?
Oh, God! I hate
the worst
this question.
No.
I think we joked about this. So, the monitors are a group of highly powerful individuals that, in lack of better words, monitor the multiverse. And there is one monitor per world for them to monitor. Their world, the monitor's world in existence, starts to change as it's from this point it gets really confusing because
from this point
when
this
the monitors,
is where we might lose some people.
when the monitors were first introduced, the first one was in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it was just the Monitor, and there was the Anti-Monitor from the Antimatter universe.
You don't have to convince me. I agree.
Okay, great. So I'm convincing you.
No one's watching this, but
No.
I like how for our inaugural
We took
video,
the heaviest
we
fucking
picked,
idea.
Oh, just the worst. Something that no new reader would ever read,
No.
and most long-term readers despise.
But, so anyway, they go from Crisis on Infinite Earths, where there's one, and they smash all of reality into one, where they retcon all continuity. From Crisis on Infinite Earths, there's been other crises that have expanded the universe to a multiverse. And with that, it expanded the monitors into 52 individual monitors, each with their own personality, and now each with their own story, which apparently they didn't have because they were just beings who were just blank slates, just watching a world.
So they're kind of like the X-Men.
No. They are kind of like the Watchers, to a sense, except they watch an entire universe where the Watchers only watch in a planet.
Like the Avengers.
Yes. Exactly like the Avengers.
All right.
You nailed it.
Well, I think we're going to get some people on board now.
What were we talking about?
So, Final Crisis, and this is all for Multiversity. We're 45 minutes in, or maybe we're 15 minutes in. Who knows how much of this shit I'm going to have to hack off in the editing room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Final Crisis. So, we went over you did a very good synopsis of what the synopsis is.
Yes.
Other than the Monitor debacle, which really...
Should be edited out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna though.
Great.
I'm just gonna plaster a bunch of funny pictures behind us while we're talking.
Just a bunch of question marks.
Yes. So, you hit it good. No one's gonna watch this and then go out and read it.
They might.
That would be great. They won't, though. So, let's really quick hit a couple key points, takeaways that happen in this.
Yes.
Number one, spoiler, but, I mean, you know what you're getting into here. It's
By the cover, yeah.
Batman dies. Or does he? He does, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
But that was how they sold it. You know, that image was everywhere. Batman dead, Superman cradling his skeletal remains in his arms. That was a big one.
Yep.
And in a pretty cool way. Although some would argue very out of character for Batman, but...
Justified.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Batman, no you don't like guns, but come on. It's right there. It's the only thing.
There's this god-killing gun right there. Right next to Darkseid.
Yes. Why do you put it there?
Would you just put it in your hand and shoot his face off, please?
So Batman mortally wounds the now mortal Darkseid by firing a god-killing bullet that had previously been fired backwards through time to kill Orion.
Yep.
But being the gentleman, doesn't shoot him in the head or anything, just wounds him.
Shoots him like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy.
At the same time, Darkseid fires his Omega beams, they zip around, blast Batman, and presumably kill him.
Mm-hmm. In a very awkward double-page spread, I would have to say. I feel like it looks very bizarre. Maybe it's J.G. Jones's art, and it's kind of hyper-realistic. Well, not hyper-realistic like Alex Ross, but it is more realistic.
Yeah.
And you just feel like he's just in an awkward pose, like, ah!
It's like that Hugh Jackman beach photo shoot where he's coming out of the water, super sexy, but then there's all the other photos that didn't make it onto the trouble where he's like... Yeah. Exactly. So, odd choice, but...
If I could expand on the Batman moment, I feel like this is one of the moments that, without those two issues of more Batman to, like, lead up to this moment...
It's kind of flat.
It's out of nowhere. Really flat, because Batman disappears, like, in issue 2 or so, and then you go through issue 3, the Superman Beyond 2 issues, the Black Lightning Tattooed Man issue, and then maybe 2 more after that, and then in that one, Batman gets shot, and he just comes out in the page before.
Yeah, he has like 2 pages.
Points the gun at Darkseid and says, like, I make an exception for you. Boom. Double page spread of him. And then that's it.
At least he didn't say, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I wish he would have said that.
Man, that would have been something.
It would have been something, yes.
But yeah, I mean, that was one of the major takeaways from this book.
Yeah. A lot of people upset that it didn't happen in Batman R.I.P.
Yes, because right before that, they played up Morrison's Batman R.I.P. book on that being the death of Batman, where they make it out like it is, then he doesn't.
No.
And then he overcomes adversity there, gets back to the Batcave. Alfred's like, Batman, Darkseid's loose. All right, killed.
Yeah.
So, but you know, he wounded Darkseid. So
he did wound him, so he's got that going on.
Yep. So, one major death, another major reappearance. A huge deal in the DC universe.
Huge deal. Barry Allen comes back from like a 20-year absence from all comics. He was last seen in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where he dies. To save humanity, yeah.
The crises don't treat the Flash as well.
No.
They just,
you know what? I think without the Flashes, though, they would never happen anyway.
Oh, no.
So.
No.
And it's like this huge splash page of Barry Allen chasing the Radion bullet that's going to shoot Orion.
While Death, the Black Racer, is chasing Barry Allen.
Yeah, and
so he's
since
literally, Flash has been running from Death since Infinite Crisis.
From Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
This is where it gets murky. So where's he been running?
He's
backwards
just been
through time?
He's just been in the Speed Force.
Just a cosmic treadmill type of thing?
Yes.
I know there is a cosmic treadmill.
Yeah, but it's not the lexicon
of these books. Like, that's another thing. Morrison, he uses the lexicon. He doesn't explain what these things are. No. Like, he just, like, anti-life equation. And the casual reader is like, what's that? Like, I'm sure he breaks it down in here by saying the actual equation. But, like, what? You know? Like, okay. Cosmic treadmill, Speed Force, all this stuff. This is not a book for new readers.
No, it is not a book for new readers.
Not really a book for old readers either.
But
man, it's so dense. The whole thing. There's so much packed into every page.
But then there's not enough packed on every page either.
Because I feel like he cuts it down to the barest essentials of what he's telling.
And only if you go back and try to fill in the gaps yourself. Which is fine in some, like, I don't mind when, like, a panel or something is like, for more information, go to issue 100 or whatever it is. But this one is like, you need to know all of continuity. Also, if any pertinent information might be in a tie-in that is not in the main title.
You have to find it.
Yeah,
here's your book, here's the internet. Good luck, eat shit.
It's not reader-friendly.
No.
Which is one of my big complaints of Grant Morrison, at least in Final Crisis. Because this is the one book I've read from his, I'm like, okay, dude, like, I get it. You like all the continuity and everything, but I didn't feel like he still told a cohesive story.
He doesn't make it easy. And I feel like Morrison is so much on the next level, and he's been... Every project, it seems like he's been spinning around his brain for years, so he knows it inside and out. And then when he puts it to page, he's like, how can I make this quicker? How can I make this snappier? And I think he kind of gets lost in the fact that, like, we're not all right there along with him. Like, we haven't been mulling this around in our brains for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, this is our first experience with it. Need a little bit more between the panels.
Yeah.
But, his stuff is unlike anything else, and I just chalk that up to, like, that's what you get with Grant Morrison. Like, either you accept it or you don't, but that's what he does. That's how he does his stories. I just have a couple other. Martian Manhunter dies rather unceremoniously in, like, one panel.
For a major character.
Yeah.
From, like, a very shitty villain.
Just burns him.
Yeah.
It seemed weird.
Yeah.
Hawkman and woman die in like a boom tube explosion.
Yeah.
And you really wouldn't know it from the panel.
No.
Like, I guess they die.
I guess I forgot about that because I forgot about it.
Aquaman comes back, and apparently he was out of the universe for a while at that point.
Yeah.
But he just shows up on a page. And I read an interview somewhere where Morrison was like, yeah, I just brought him back. Like, he's been gone for a while. I figured, it was about time to bring him back. Some other... Again, I'm missing the voice here.
Yeah.
Oh, some other writer. I'll give that writer a chance to show how we got back and
Exactly. He probably didn't have his own title for a while.
Yeah, so he's just back.
Yeah. It wasn't until like who had that really good run in like the 90s? Like Peter David? Was that who it was?
I don't know.
I can't remember either.
We should edit that out then.
Or not.
We won't.
But he didn't really get into the public's good graces until the New 52 started.
Yeah, and that's weird. Of all the characters, why suddenly him during that? But yeah, he did kind of take off there.
Because Jeff Johns loves Aquaman.
I guess so. The Green Lanterns do essentially nothing throughout the entire book until the last 3 pages.
Yeah. They were a part, well, at least Hal Jordan was, a part of the beginning. Because when Orion is killed, they go and try to figure out, and they investigate the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find out that there was a radion bullet that can kill gods lodged in concrete, because as the bullet passed through Orion, it still was traveling through time, and then it got stuck in concrete where it would have just been buried in there without it ever...
Is it the same... But is that the bullet that Flash is chasing?
I want to... Yeah, because it's all time shit. Like,
so there's 2 bullets at one point.
There's only 1 bullet.
Well, I know, but like, is the bullet in the present and coming from the past at the same time? Or for the future?
Yeah, because it would be an all-time... Because...
So it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, because it's traveling through time.
Grant Morrison.
You heavy bastard. But anyway, Green Hornet. What am I thinking?
I think you mean the Charlotte Hornets.
Of course. Sports.
Right.
Green Lantern, Hal Jordan specifically, is framed for Orion's murder from the Alpha Lanterns, which I've never heard of referenced until this book, which probably existed because Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
And then you find out one Alpha Lantern who's heading the thing isn't exactly who she says she is.
Possessed by one of Darkseid's Legion. Granny
Goodness.
My most hated named character of any comic character.
Ever.
What a terrible name.
It is awful.
It's bad. I don't even want to dwell on it. Let's move on.
But after that, like, they're kind of like out of the equation. Once they find out that Granny Goodness is hosting in the body of this Alpha Lantern, who name escapes me, doesn't matter. The Guardians are pretty much like
Eric.
Okay, yeah, that's it. They're like, like, oh, yep, we screwed up. Hal
Sorry,
Jordan,
Hal.
free.
Yep.
All of you.
Why don't you guys head back to Earth? It's that way. It should take you anywhere between 5 minutes or 70 days.
Who knows? You could get trapped in the bleed. Nobody cares. And
so,
which what happens.
Yes, while the Earth is being sucked into a black hole, the universe collapsing on itself as a result of Darkseid dying for whatever reason. As he's dying, he's sucking the universe in.
Yep.
Side effect of the God-killing bullet or his fall to Earth from the death of the New God storyline. Whatever the case may be. Universe collapsing. Green Lantern Corps on their way. And they remain in this pose for like 3 issues. Where they're just like, God, I can't believe we're not there yet. It feels like we're moving, but we're not getting any closer. It's like that Monty Python, the Holy Grail sketch where the 2 guards are outside the castle eating the apple, watching Lancelot run to the castle, and they just keep watching. He keeps running, but never gets any closer. And then suddenly he's there and he stabs him and runs away.
Yep.
It's exactly like that.
Almost
nice
to a
nod, Grant Morrison. God, deep cuts.
So the Green Lanterns are out of the picture for now. And, oh my god, I forgot to mention, like, Nix Wotan.
We'll get to him. We'll get to him in Multiversity when we end up tracking back to Final Crisis.
Okay, fine, that's fine.
Which also brings us to Mr. Miracle, the tie-in to Seven Soldiers. He pops up with a very weird Asian super team.
The super young team
Yes.
is what I have written here.
They're terrible.
Awful. And you think they're going to be a big deal, and then they're not.
No. Morrison, I feel like, pulls from so many things in a cluttered attic of terrible characters, thinking like,
Who will nobody ever want to use?
yes, like, we'll set them up, we'll kind of give them a boost so another rider can take them and go with them. And everyone's like, no, Grant, we're good. And then they're never seen again.
Yeah.
Commandy, another one.
Yeah.
Which eventually he brings back in Multiversity.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these obscure
Did you see the
things.
reference?
Command D.
Command D, yeah.
Which one of the detention centers of Darkseid's
Yeah,
people?
that's where Batman's taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, he pulls these really obscure characters thinking like, maybe I'll make them cool again. Give them a little, freshen them up a bit. And they're like, nah, they're good where they're at.
Even on the
right over there behind the, behind the old dusty mirror or in the pile of
trash
college art portfolios. Yeah, trash.
Even on the bookends of Final Crisis, he used a character called Anthro, which I didn't know until I read Convergence.
He's in Final Crisis at the beginning.
That's what I said. He's in the bookends.
You said Multiversity.
Oh, I meant Final Crisis.
Maybe you said Final Crisis. I don't know. I've been drifting in and out.
But he's known as like the first man.
Yeah.
And he had like a run of comics way back when.
And he was who Metron visited and
gave him fire.
Yeah. Kind of the 2001 type of thing,
yep.
where he's visited by a celestial force and then they get the upper hand on the rest of the tribe there.
Yeah. Apparently,
and then it ends with him dying.
Yeah.
It's someone else hanging out in the cave and caveman times with him. It's Batman. Darkseid just sent him back through time for some reason.
Who knows?
Whatever. So, one more. Mr. Miracle's back.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really amount to much.
No.
No. Guess you could really just skip 7 Soldiers. But don't. It's good. Just,
It is good. Read it.
You don't need it for this. It's like a prequel to a trilogy where the third one hasn't been made yet. Final Crisis is very much like number 1. Multiversity is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he's going to do, Multiversity 2 is number 3. Just in typical Grant Morrison, let's make it as confusing as possible. And then 7 Soldiers is kind of like a prequel to that. Like the TV series before the movie or something like that.
Pretty well said, yeah.
It is good. One last thing. How does Superman defeat Darkseid, Troy?
Well, Dave, he defeats him with song.
The power of song. Morrison has kind of an affinity for music.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the universes all operate at different vibrational frequencies.
Yeah.
So...
And being that he used to be a magician...
Well,
he is a magician, but a musician.
Done a little bit of everything, yeah.
I feel like
Makes
that's
sense.
played a lot until his works as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Superman sings a song, but it's not like he sang...
Yeah, Somewhere Over the Rainbow or anything like that. He just, like, belts out this, what you can assume is, like, this harmony, which counteracts Darkseid's...
evil, negative frequencies.
Yeah.
Just blows him to smithereens.
And just obliterates him.
Yep. And then it goes, like, one step further, too, where over the course of the issues, Superman creates a miracle machine.
Yeah.
From the future.
From Brainiac 5 and the Legion of Superheroes. Sorry.
We're not even going to explain what these guys are.
No, we're going to go on.
God, this book sounds great, doesn't it? All you have to know is everything.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But it is kind of cool. He creates a miracle machine. You get one wish. Don't fuck it up, Superman.
Yeah.
What's he wish for? He wishes for a happy ending.
Yeah.
So he whispers something into the machine. Everything kind of works out. And then at the end, what'd you wish for? Happy ending. Superman, just hell of a guy.
Yeah.
Stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Of course that's what he'd ask for. It's the best. Wouldn't ask for his friend Batman to be back or anything. You know. Guess that's included in the happy ending.
I suppose.
Alright. That should definitely be always say on Final Crisis.
It won't be.
No. I could talk more, but we've had to pare this down too. We could go on. These talks normally last longer when we're not on camera and we are drinking more heavily.
Yeah.
But we should really move on now that we're over an hour in.
Great.
To what we're going to talk about today. So how about that? Another show under the belt, and could you believe all the information about the monitors that you didn't even ask for? Rock solid edutainment. But sorry kids, like all good things, this too must come to an end, only to continue next week when we finally dive into the deep end of the pool, that is Multiversity. I mean, we have to, right? I mean, there's literally nothing else that we can sidetrack ourselves with, right? Well, now I feel like there might be. Just joking. We're actually going to get to it next time. So tune in for everything you wanted to know but didn't know you wanted to know about Multiversity.